Radio. It's like TV without all the colors.
Zodiac.
What up, y'all? I am your host, Young Smooth, and you are tuned into another episode of Kicking It with Young Smooth, the podcast where I chill out, I rant for a little bit about, social topics, all of the rhetoric, the bullshit, and on top of that, I review some of my most favorite albums, go over their chart-topping success, and how it meant, and how it felt to me. And possibly a couple of anecdotes, depending on how I feel. So, don't forget that you can find me on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Google Music, which is now YouTube Music in the grand scheme of things, or your Google Podcast, Spotify, and don't forget about the YouTube channel, Kicking It with Young Smooth. So, did y'all get that lyric from last week? It was a difficult one, but it was one of my favorites. It was actually from Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. It was called Wake Up. And it is actually one of my favorite songs. It has Jay-Z on the song as well. So definitely make sure y'all go check that song out if you haven't. It is a classic. I think Missy has changed the landscape of hip-hop forever. I'm glad that she is finally getting her flowers and her just dues. So that's really, really dope. Yeah, so I think that's where we're going to go with it. So let's go ahead and start this week's Kick That Lyric. It comes from an artist that is timeless, but not getting the just dues that the artist deserves. Right now, we are not able to truly enjoy this artist's music in the grand scheme of like the streaming era of life. So, I mean, I think that's really difficult, especially after their passing. I mean, this is going to be a pretty easy one and a very short one. And it reads as the King's English in the second verse. People always say that I played myself for you. They say that you don't even notice me. Baby, when I get the nerve to come to you, Promise me that you won't diss me. Y'all already know what this is. I promise you do. It's so super easy. If you are a fan, if you love 90s R&B, you know what this is. Alright. Don't forget that you can always hit me on Kicking It With Young Smooth on most of your social media platforms. And let me know if you know what that song is. It's definitely a great song. One of my favorites. And next week I'll tell you the anecdote behind that song. It's so funny and it is ridiculous. Alright, moving on to the ratchet and ridiculous. Be careful. Cardi B wants her divorce from Offset to be drama-free, no financial support needed. So it seems when it comes to her split from her husband, Cardi B wants channel SpongeBob and just head out. I don't know what the hell that meant. She's making it clear she wants to keep things friendly with Offset. As spotted on TMZ, the Bronx bombshell has quickly amended her divorce filing to ensure their separation from her soon-to-be ex-husband goes smoothly as possible. On Tuesday, September 15, she filed formal paperwork requesting a decision of their union. Thankfully, the submission asks that they both have joint custody of their daughter, Culture Carrie Cephas. I absolutely hate her last name. I really do. I mean, you can't really judge your last name. It just kind of is what it is. But that's a hard last name right there. Today, her legal representatives have received an asked to and have been asked to allow the courts to enforce whatever the two agree to. So to align her with the desire for any sorry, I can't say the word applicable resolution. So I do have a couple of thoughts about the whole Cardi B situation. I have been watching a lot of different interviews and just watching a whole lot of blogs. Shout out to Unwind with Tasha K and all of the bloggers, and a lot of people have opinions about it. I think, really, honestly, truth be told, sometimes, well, especially in Hollywood, like a lot of times divorces are just like, look, we don't see eye to eye, we work too much, we do too much, even though right now nobody is really working in this pandemic, which is evidently clear. But what I'm most enthused about is the fact that she's gonna do her own thing. Like the reality is, Cardi is making more money than Offset. Offset made more money touring. Cardi's done more things. Right now, she's coming back with a new album that we're all getting amped and excited for. After the WAP thing, it's funny. A lot of people are saying that the controversy is what is selling this. It could be. I do believe that Cardi's career has been shrouded in controversy. So it's like, oh, every time something happens, then there's a new album out, so on and so forth. I hear y'all, but at the same token, divorce is like death. You know what I'm saying to you? So you got y'all got a baby together. So either, work it out. And if you're not happy, you're not happy. Now, of course, there's been a whole bunch of rumors about him cheating, and there's never not been a rumor about him fucking cheating. Like, that always seems to be the case. However, I'm hoping for this sake that it's just like, yo, from what she's been saying online, she's really been like, look, check this out. I can't deal with it. If I'm not happy anymore, I'd rather go than to continuously be in a marriage that we're not seeing eye to eye with. And that's a lesson that you motherfuckers need to learn too. Look, if you're not happy, I won't say the second. I won't say the second. I used to be like, the second a motherfucker don't make me happy, I'm out. Nah. If you're not happy and you feel as though that you can't work your shit out, leave. Leave. Life is too short. We got a whole pandemic out here. Like, life is moving super fast right now. Don't stay with somebody that you unhappy with. You know what I'm saying to you? And I'm not an advocate for divorce. I believe work it out by all means necessary. I really, really do. Work the shit out by all means necessary. But if it's something that you can, you see in your future that, yo, I'm going to resent this person, I don't have the same love for this person no more, let that shit go. That will eat at you. It will eat and eat and eat at you until you are like, yo, I'm sitting here with a motherfucker I can't stand. Because first of all, you're doing a disservice to you and you're doing a disservice to that person. And to be really completely honest, it is not fair for you to have been with someone for umpteen years and then on your deathbed, they pissed and they don't really fuck with you. So whatever happens to you, what you could have been saved, they like, fuck it, we pulling the cord. Like, cause y'all just that mad, you got that much animosity. Don't sit here with a whole bunch of hate in your heart or, animosity towards somebody and you don't want to be with them. Fuck it. If you don't want to be with somebody, let the shit go. Fucking shit is like bad gas. Just let the shit out. God damn it. Alright, moving on. Wu-Tang Saga. The Wu-Tang Clan saga continues and the concert is on. Please be advised that the Wu-Tang Clan saga continues concert scheduled for Friday, May 8th, 2020 at the Hall at Live has been rescheduled to Thursday, October 22nd, 2020. That's a lot. I'm confused on... I don't understand why we try and do concerts, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to tell you my thought in a second. Tickets for the May 8th, 2020 date will be valid for the rescheduled October 22nd, 2020 date. Ticket buyers who would like to request a refund to the show affected by this announcement can do so at its original point of purchase. Refunds will be available at the point of purchase until Friday, May 1st, 2020. So that's already done. Thank you for understanding. We look forward to you. So that was the whole situation from Wu-Tang. I still have a problem with concerts still taking place. We don't have enough answers. Like, yo, I've seen some people still throwing parties and all of this shit. Y'all, a virus is just that. Like, real quick, we are in September. The weather flipped in 2 seconds. Like, today is the 22nd, one and the 23rd. But the weather flipped so quickly here in Maryland that it is ridiculous. I mean, nights are going down to 40 50 and 40 degrees. And that was like super quick. It was super quick. And it's been like that for like the last 2.5-3 weeks. And it just was like, I remember times in September, it would still be fairly warm. I say all of that to say that viruses and germs and stuff breed in the cold as well. So y'all out here in all of these concert atmospheres and all of this, and we still don't have no full answers. We ain't got nothing really solid to fall back on, and we don't know what a vaccination gonna look like. All of this shit. Children having to go back to school. I think the homeschooling thing is great, but I flip it back around to say all of this. I love Wu-Tang. I've been watching. I actually finally got into the Hulu Wu-Tang the Saga Continues. I think it's dope. I love the story. I love what they did. Like, yo, it's so much stuff. It is so much stuff in this show, which I think I'm gonna watch it again because I binged it. I started binging it, and then all of a sudden I binged Girlfriends. Because I think it came out around the same time I started binging it, so I was like, let me go ahead and just try to zoom through Girlfriends because it was 8 seasons and it's a lot. Yo, I also want to touch on that as well. Yo, I'm so mad that we went on that writer's strike in 2008 and literally didn't get anything. Like, the 8th season, if it was supposed to be a final season, it was good. But you're talking about a show that had like 21 episodes per season. We sit back and we talk about reboot after reboot. You feel me? Of all of these shows, and no shows should be touched, and we should just leave these shows alone. I am sorry. For the fans, for the culture, even though it's been almost over, it literally has been over, or has been 20 years. For the culture and the fans of that show, it is worth it to do a reboot. Here is the reason why. All of the characters and actors are still living, number one. Number two, we're in the era of a reboot that it makes complete sense. There's so many storylines that we could go for. Girlfriends hit, when I tell you Girlfriends hit on all cylinders, all the major topics, everything. I mean, from divorce, cheating, postpartum depression, having a baby, interracial dating, masturbation. Like what else? What, Lynn was adopted and not being black enough, and all type of things. When I tell you, it is worth it. And I never knew that watching Girlfriends, that there is literally a whole pilot for the game inside of Girlfriends. Like, it's literally a whole episode called The Game. And I mean, the only person from the show that's in there is Tracee Ellis Ross, that plays Joan, and she's only in there for like the top part of the show, and then the rest of the whole show is a whole pilot for The Game. When I tell you, it is definitely worth it. This is a show I would love to petition for the show to come back. I think Netflix has revived it, and the fact that we get to binge it and watch it, and I'm telling you, it took me a couple of weeks in between, like the last 3-4 weeks. I really have, and it's a lot. That's 21 episodes, like I said, per show, except for when you get to like season 8, and then season 8 is just one of those episodes where you're like, oh, okay, it'll be back next week. Absolutely nothing. I mean, it did the same thing for Moesha. And as much as I would love for Moesha to come back, a couple of things are not going to be great for Moesha. Number one, Hakeem is gone. Hakeem is dead. So that already throws off the whole dynamic. You know what I'm saying to you? Countess Vaughn, who plays Kim, I think the only thing that is going to be wrong with that is that she's lost her. I don't know how her vocal situation has been. I remember watching her on R&B Divas, and I think that, like, she had like a, what the hell is that shit called? It's something with, she had a thyroid situation. I'm sorry, on her, on her larynx, on her throat. And so, like, pushing it makes it give her this, like, really raspy voice. So you're not gonna get that Kim that we love. So, that's a little off. That's a little crazy. I think that if you did anything, I don't think it should be a reboot. I think it should be a spin-off show of Moesha, like a continuation that's completely different if you want to keep the cast together. But it's different now. You know what I'm saying? You're definitely not going to look at the characters the same. We're not going to look at the characters the same because you have Ray J, who played Dorian. Like, you're going to think of Ray J for the Scooty Bikes, Raycon, the sex tape. Like, you're going to think of Ray J for other things other than him being Dorian. Like, I don't. In the years that had passed since before Moesha became a discussion again, like, I don't think of Ray J that way. I think of Ray J in the new Ray J sense, if that makes sense. But yeah, flipping back, recycling all the way back, I just don't think, because I flew off topic, but I don't think that we need to be in a concert going mode or getting tickets ready for concerts and this, that, and the third. I I don't think that we're not there yet, because truth be told, if we do not get it together, we will be back in the situation that we were at the top of this fuck ass year that is 2020. That is just bottom line. All right, moving on. Ready to buy? The Notorious B.I.G.'s rap page Crown sells for $500,000. Yo, that's crazy. It's crazy because, number one, every time I look at the Crown, I think the Crown is cool. I think it's dope. But is it me or is it like a Burger King? It looked like one of the regular plastic crowns. You know what I'm saying? Never mind. I ain't even gonna go there. The Rap King of New York's royalty has once again been certified. Christopher Wallace's regal headwear just got sold for $500,000. As spotted on Hip Hop DX, the crown B.I.G. wore on the cover of Rap Pages now has a new home, and it is safe to say a luxurious one at that. On Tuesday, September 5th, Southby's, whatever, hosted their first ever hip hop auction, while several iconic hip hop items were bidded on. The premier offering once sat on the God MC's head. The prestigious auction house announced that after a fierce back and forth between two buyers, the crown was sold for a whopping $594,800. They state, tonight during our inaugural hip-hop auction, one of the most iconic symbols of hip-hop's heyday, the crown worn and signed by the Notorious B.I.G. from Baron Claiborne's iconic 1997 King of New York photo shoot from Rap Pages magazine, sold for, they acclaim it roughly around $600,000. The Instagram post read, the photograph is one of the most recognized images in hip-hop culture and has endured as the defining portrait of the artist for more than 20 years since it was taken. In addition to the Who Shot Your Rapper's crown, some of Tupac's teenage love letters were also sold for a cool $75,000. You can... Oh, they're talking about seeing the highlights of the auction below. Anyway, that is dope. The crown, I'm here for. The crown, definitely here for. The love letters, that's freaky. That's freaky. From what I saw the person that took it. I think that they ended up like just encasing it. They took pictures of it on Instagram, but still remain, I think, fairly anonymous. However, I love that crown picture. Like, as a matter of fact, if you look at the cover art for this podcast, the t-shirt that I have on is that same album cover that was from Rap Pages. And in addition, I also have the Funko Pop, and the Funko Pop is the one with the crown. So I also own that as well. And I want to say, I don't have the rest of the art in this particular room yet, but there are other art pieces that I do have that are coming that will focus on that. So it is very iconic to have that crown, and the fact that you have a signature in it, that definitely means a lot. But it's funny to me because, all jokes aside, that crown looks, I really wish I had more details about the crown itself and maybe a backstory on it, but it looks like a regular crown. Like, alright, so this is not a shady thing. I'm not saying this to be shady, but what's even more funny, I have a crown in here. The crown is my man Kojo. Matter of fact, make sure y'all check out Coincide. Like, that album is great. The new video for Summertime just dropped. It has so many phenomenal women, plus one of my good friends, Kalada, in the video and in the song. And what I was thinking was like, yo, the way that the crown looks, like, I have one of Kojo's many crowns that he's made, spray painted, and that was his thing. That crown that Biggie has, it looks exactly like that. And I'm like, yo, it's not nothing big. Now, I think that one was more made of metal than plastic, but it looks more plastic than anything. So I'm like, we are paying $500,000 for a plastic crown. Okay. So I was just very confused. I was like, that's a lot of money if that's a plastic crown. Like, I mean, it looked like it was gold, but again, I don't know. However, that picture is iconic. Like I said, it is part of the cover. It just happens to be part of the cover because that was the t-shirt. Matter of fact, that t-shirt that I have on in that picture is from Fashion Nova, and that was the Trust Nobody picture with Big on there. So, good times. One of my favorites, definitely. Moving on. Alicia Keys announces new album plus an additional surprise. Girl, if you got, you know what? Never mind. Alicia Keys hopped on Instagram yesterday to announce a release date for her upcoming album, self-titled album. Oh, that's going to be good. Okay. Her new project will be available this Friday, September 18th. Oh, wait, man, I might need to go download it. I'm late. Which has features from Miguel, writing credits from The Dream, Tory Lanez, and more fans have been waiting patiently for this moment, as the album was originally supposed to drop on March 20th, but was delayed twice due to the COVID pandemic. In addition to the album, Alicia will also be giving us a show to accompany the new album. She will do a virtual performance taking place later that day. I missed that performance. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to go back and look for that. But I will say, I'm excited for it. I definitely think I need to check out an Alicia Keys album again. I hope that it gives me a vibe and a feel like the first, I want to say, what are my favorites? Hold on one second. I know it sounds weird because I'm moving, but what are my favorites? Maybe like the first three. Yeah. I wish it would give me like a feel of the first three. I love the fact that Alicia Keys has done so much good work. She's such a humanitarian, all of that good stuff. And I like this no makeup. At first, let me tell you something. It took me a minute to get used to Alicia Keys with no makeup on, but it actually, her skin looks good. I think she focused. It was very natural. It's not, it doesn't come across as bland. Her skin doesn't come across as bland or just like out of shape. And one of the great things about that is this. I think that with Alicia Keys not wearing makeup, it made her focus super hard on her health and her skin. Because I've seen pictures and I'm like, yo, your skin looks good. Like, the lighting is good. Like, lights can always drain the shit out of you and make you look, completely weird or whatever. But Alicia does look really, really good. So I am hoping that this album is gonna be something. I wanted to move on to another topic. Brianna, this may actually, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, if y'all feel like this show is moving fast, it is. This may be a quick show tonight. I don't know. Breonna Taylor's family is to receive $12 million settlement from city of Louisville. The city of Louisville, Kentucky, has settled on a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the family of Breonna Taylor. The 26-year-old EMT was shot and killed by police 6 months ago, promoting global protest and citizens urging Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron to charge the officers involved. According to the New York Times, Taylor's family will receive $12 million from the city. The city also agreed to implement a number of changes in regards to police, including more. That's not really a word. Sorry. The city also agreed to implement a number of changes in regards to policing, including more on officers during an extension of search warrants and more moderate safeguards that were common in the department but not found on the night that Taylor was shot and killed. Taylor died after her boyfriend said he mistook police officers for an intruder as they busted in the front door of her apartment after midnight to execute a no-knock search warrant. Her boyfriend, Keith Walker, opened fire, prompting officers to let off multiple rounds in Taylor's apartment and two others. There was no effort to render aid for her as officers insisted on calling an ambulance for the wounded officers. Both former First Lady Michelle Obama and Vice President nominee Kamala Harris called out Taylor's name at the Democratic National Convention in August. The latest in a number of global figures who have called for justice in the slain woman's name. Criminal charges have yet to be filed against the officers more than 6 months after the incident. Okay. Breonna Taylor. I said it and went silent because we do need to say her name. The money don't mean nothing. The money means nothing because the young lady's life, who in turn was actually putting her life on the line during the global pandemic, and I mean at the top of the pandemic. We're talking like 6 months ago, and this shit is sad. This shit is sad. Like, yo, there is a new narrative also going around that I've also looked at, where like people are saying, oh, the boyfriend shot at the police and da da da, and I'm like, yo, what would any American, anybody, fuck being American, what would anybody do in that situation? What would anybody do if an intruder came in? They have a no-knock warrant. First of all, the fact that that was even a thing, I won't even say legal, but even a thing to have a no-knock warrant means that what you're saying is at any time, anything can happen to anybody where, oh, they could just knock on your door, blow your door down, and blow you away. It's not right. This shit has got to stop. Like, we just don't. It was bad when the narrative used to be like, oh, we killing our own. Nah, bro. Now the narrative is that they are killing us. They are taking our lives. Like, what are we doing to deserve this? Oh, we not killing each other fast enough? Is this what you're saying? Because I'm confused. I'm tired. I'm like, honestly, truthfully, all jokes aside, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of having these conversations and who did what and why we not this and this, that, and third. Yo, at the end of the day, let's just be people. Let's just be people, y'all. Like, I'm not saying that I got the best platform or I'm the person that's going to change the world or any of those things, but I do believe in what Tupac said. I may not change the world, but I will spark the membrane for those that come after. Paraphrasing, because it's not how that quote goes, but y'all know that. But just in general, we gotta make some changes, yo. Voting is one thing. Voting is a definite one thing. We definitely all need to get out there and vote. I don't care if you're not registered. I've been registered for years at this point, but I will get out there and vote. Make your vote heard. Make your vote count. Let's do this. Whatever that looks like. What I am utterly sick of, though, and it is just clearly this is where we are when we get to a primary election. One day I woke up, right, and my TV has stayed on CNN for the last 4 years at this point, and I really sat back and they put up on the screen the two candidates for the 2020 election, because we only get two, and that flashing image of a half-sided face of Biden and a half-sided face of Trump. The shit looks like a boxing match. Like, that's how we get down to it. We only get down to two. We weed out the rest of them. Everybody else is, and we don't even weed them out. You feel what I'm saying to you? We as people don't even weed them out. The government just weeds them out and say, sorry, not even the government. The media just weeds it out, and we don't talk about these other candidates or other people that could be running. You know what I'm saying? And then it is what it is. I remember a time where, like, you had, the Clinton administration. You had Clinton right before Bush went in office. We had Clinton for 8 years, and then you have the Clinton administration when it ended. So you had Clinton, you had Bush, and you had Ross Perot. That was a thing. But at the end of the day, at least you had other candidates to think about. I do not include Kanye in this conversation because, first and foremost, that is not that is not a thing. Like we always have said, Kanye is a distraction. Speaking of which, though, this is not a topic that I was thinking about, but now that I just brought that into my mind, I want people to understand that Kanye is telling you the absolute truth. Okay? People sit back and what has been done in the music industry, period. When you're not making any more money for record labels and you're trying to get your own and this, that, and the third. Like recently he went on this rant about, getting his masters and this, that, and the third. And which Kanye deserves that. Kanye has worked hard for his stuff. And unfortunately, when you get into contracts that just don't make any sense. It seems like it does, and like the music industry will have lawyers that only serve the best interest of the record label and never really the artist. You know what I'm saying to you? That's why we have so many artists that we love and they really don't own the rights to their music. You know what I'm saying to you? We end up downloading and streaming. They're not making any money off of music because they're not making any money off of tangible sales. At this point, they were making money off of touring, and right now with a whole pandemic, ain't nobody making no money. So I say that to say, believe in Kanye, because I honestly, this is the only time that I will say that right now with Kanye's situation, he not lying. He not lying. He's trying to get those masters, and if something does happen to Kanye, that is part of that whole situation. We ain't gonna say their names, but y'all know what we talking about. But I believe in every rant is some type of truth. You feel what I'm saying to you? So I think that he's telling the truth, and they cover it up with his quote unquote, his bipolarness, which is a thing, and he does have it, and his manicness and his depression. So they try to cover it up like it's just that. The Kardashian, fuck the Kardashians. I still have a whole issue with they succubus asses, but Kanye is right. I don't believe that he pissed on them Grammys, but it is what it is. But he is right. He needs to get his masters back. He needs to get that back from Sony. He needs to get that back. And he's like, yo, Michael told y'all about it. Prince has told you about it. Get your royalties. Get your stuff up front. Because on the back end and on the front end, these fuck ass industries win all the time. Every single time. And artists that have poured their life into their music, have not had children because of their music, are not reaping the financial benefits. Yeah, we out here and we got all of these clothes and expensive cars and all this bullshit. And that's the perpetuation that's what we should strive for and that's what we should go for. But the reality is, create and protect your art. There are only a handful of artists that have their musical rights. And that's crazy. So, but I say all of that to say also, Kanye, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do it with the presidency thing, sir. Have several seats. Anyway, moving on. Nicki Minaj scores win in legal battle with Tracy Chapman. I am very surprised about this though. Nicki Minaj is one step closer to freedom. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Oh my god, I could not help myself. I'm so sorry because that literally was that Queen radio shit. To freedom. Not dealing with her. From her legal dispute With singer-songwriter Tracy Chapman. On Thursday, September 17th, Judge Virginia A. Phillips ruled that Minaj did not, engage in copyright infringement in her unreleased song Sorry, which samples Chapman's song Baby Can I Hold You in 2018. Chapman sued Minaj, claiming that Miss Petty never had permission to use her song. But Judge Phillips ruled in favor of Minaj, citing the fair use doctrine. Artists usually experiment with works before seeking license from rights holders, and rights holders typically ask to see a proposed work before approving a license, wrote Phillips in her decision. A ruling uprooting these common practices would limit creativity and stifle innovation within the music industry. Although Minaj won the battle, the legal war with Chapman is not finished yet. While Minaj never officially released Sorry, despite publicly asking for Chapman for permission to use her song on the album Queen, the track did leak online after Funkmaster Flex played the song on the radio in August 2018. The court now must determine whether Minaj infringed upon Chapman's right by distributing the song over the radio. Until that day, Minaj is free to experiment with other artists' samples, but we would suggest that she avoids fast cars for obvious reasons. I definitely would. That is dope. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was kind of how that worked. Like, you know, you as an artist get a chance to kind of sit back and, of course, sample and experiment and this, that, and the third. However, here's how I do see this playing out. Very much so. If Tracy Chapman wins in the fact that it, for whatever royalties, because it was only played for a few seconds, you feel what I'm saying to you? But if Tracy Chapman wins for Sorry going out on the radio due to Funk Flex, I only see Nicki suing Flex. Because I do remember very vividly that she asked him not to play it, and he still played it, but he played it after she left. So I do remember that interview. That was the wild ass interview where she was talking about Safari sleeping with prostitutes and shit like that. But I think that so Flex need to watch his neck. Flex, watch your neck, because I believe if we see Tracy Chapman go for the jugular and try to sue her for that time frame that it was on, which again, I don't know how much money you would really get for that, because it wasn't like it was played, it was streamed. Anybody really bought it as a single. It wasn't promoted. There wasn't no money to be made off of the song that she didn't even want. It was leaked. So I don't know how much money there would be made off of that. But if so, I think Nicki will come for Flex. I really do. I don't care how much of friends you are. When she asks you not to play the song and you still played the song, yeah. And I mean, I know Flex, you going for that whole DJ title, and you know, DJs drop the new latest music and this, that, and the third. And I honestly, so I've heard the song, and I've heard the song on YouTube in a sped up version of the song. I honestly think that song would be dope. It had her, it had Nas on it. I think that would have been a great collaboration. I kind of see where it would have fit into the whole thing. I think it definitely would have been a great portion for Queen. I don't know if everybody was ready to receive Queen quite in the way that it was. Looking and listening back on Queen now, it is a okay body of work. It's not the greatest. I don't think it was, Nicki's best. I do remember a year ago, 2 years ago, just kind of listening to this album and being like, the fuck is this? However, sometimes an album is not always its greatest when it first hits, as it is later on within its time and listening to it. However, I'm still listening to the Locks and Nas, and they are awesome. So it is what it is. All right, y'all. So speaking of albums, let's go into it. I once again do not have, and I've been doing this for weeks because I have not gotten into that book. Where the hell is it? Okay, it is over there. I have not gotten into that book to look for new albums because I've just kind of looked on the board, and which is behind me, and I thought about it. I had to do this one. I had to hit y'all with the he. I had to hit you with the ow. I am talking about the legendary first album from Missy, Misdemeanor motherfucking Elliott, with Supa Dupa Fly. Yo, actually recently she, I want to say a few months ago, she actually reposted the picture of the album cover and her recreating the photo shoot of the same album cover. And Missy, you have time traveled back. You look amazing. You've done so much for your health. You look amazing, and it is definitely a dope moment. Supa Dupa Fly is the debut studio album from American rapper Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, released July 15, 1997 on Goldmine and Elektra Records. The album was received and produced solely by Timbaland on October 1996 and features the singles The Rain, Supa Dupa Fly, Sock It To Me, Hit 'Em With The He, Beat Me 911. Guest appearances on the album include Busta Rhymes, Genuine, 702, Magoo, Da Brat, Lil' Kim, and Aaliyah. The album was recorded in just 2 weeks. Damn. That's some icon shit. The album received acclaim from critics who praised Timbaland's futuristic production style and Elliott's performance and persona. It debuted at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and topped the U.S. top R&B / hip hop albums charts. The album was certified platinum by the Record Industry Association of America, the RIAA. We gotta love them. And has sold 1.2 million copies in the U.S. So a little background on the recording. While in high school, Elliott formed a group called Phase E, later to be renamed Sister. I had to say it like that. With 3 of her friends, the group attracted the attention of record producer Devontae Swing, who was part of the R&B group Jodeci. After being signed to Swing Mob record label, Sister recorded an album in New York, but the album was never released. This led to subsequent termination of Sister's recording contract. Elliott returned to Portsmouth, Virginia, where she and record producer Timbaland began writing songs and contributing to singer Aaliyah's album One in a Million in 1996. Elliott was signed to Elektra Records and was given her own record label, The Goldmine Inc. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer CEO of Elektra at the time, Sylvia Rohn, encouraged Elliott to embark on a solo career. Recording sessions of Supa Dupa Fly took place at the Master Sound Studio in Virginia Beach, Virginia. The album was produced solely by Timbaland. The first single released from the album was The Rain, Supa Dupa Fly. As part of the promotional drive for the album, Elliott took part of the 1998 Lilith Fair tour. She became the first female rapper to perform at the event. She also joined rapper Jay-Z's Rock the Mic tour. So, one thing before I move on, Supa Dupa Fly, this was the 90s, of course, and at that point, I think we kind of talked about, like, The Firm, we kind of talked about, like, Foxy Brown, we talked about Il Nana, we talked about Lil' Kim. We've done a couple of those things on the show. Yo, when I tell you, it was funny because we laughed at it. We were like, who is this girl in this trash bag? Like, why is she in this trash bag? And who knew that over 20 years later, it would just become the most iconic thing that you've ever seen. It's become memed, it's become parodied, it's become everything. But in the same breath, it has become the most iconic piece ever. And the fact that she tells a story about how they inflated it and she was in New York and had to run to a gas station, and by the time she ran back to the set, it was halfway deflated. And that was actually a shot at the critics that talked about her weight and her being too big as a big girl in the industry, based on the fact that she had wrote a rap verse for Raven Simone's song when Raven was a little girl, Raven Simone. Her song, This Is What Little Girls Are Made Of. And what they did was they replaced Missy with a light-skinned girl and just had her lip-sync Missy part. And, they told Missy that she didn't fit the look. Missy has given 2 middle fingers up to this industry, and we are all here for it, and we stand and we love her. But yo, Super Duper Fly, yo, the rain, yo, when you start off a verse, when the rain, which, by the way, also, fun fact, that is also a Gladys Knight song. Look at that. But when you start off with, when the rain hits my window, I take me some Indo. Me and Timberland, ooh, we sang a dango. We so tight that you get our styles tangled. Swing a dosey-do like you loco. Can we get freaky tonight like Coco? So-so. Do you wanna play with my yo-yo? I smoke my hydro on the D-Lo. I can't stand the rain. What? I'm sorry. I'll be here all night. Musical content. Super Duper Fly brings together elements of hip hop, dance, R&B, electronic music, and soul. Music critic Gray Mulholland described Timbaland's production as eschewing samples from a bump and grind electronic strongly influenced by digital rhymes of dance reggae, but rounder, fuller, and fatter, which is good. All music described it as consisting of lean digital grooves packed with unpredictable arrangements and stuttering rhymes that often resembled slowed down drum and bass break beats. Elliot's raps were described as full of hilarious. I'm about to sneeze. I'm sorry. That's why I keep stopping. Hold on 1 second. Y'all gonna get all the. Excuse me. Y'all gonna get all the real on this damn show. You might hear a click or two. You might hear a sneeze. Shit. It just is what it is. Okay, sorry about that. Elliot's rap were described as full, hilarious, surreal, free association that fit the off-kilter sensibility of the music at the time. According to author Mickey Hayes, the album's lyrical content reveals Elliot's complex, creative, and challenging discussion about womanhood, her demand for respect for her personal voice, and her desire for fulfilling in intimacy with lovers and friends. The album's opening track, Bus's Intro, features rapper Busta Rhymes as a town crier, warning of a historical event that is about to unfold. The Rain, Super Duper Fly, contains a sample of Anna P's 1973 song, I Can't Stand the Rain, plus the blunt Pass the Blunt is partly based on the song Pass the Dutchie by Musical Youth, which, yes, all of those things are also true as well. But in addition, some of the undertones from that sample are also from Gladys Knight's version of I Can't Stand the Rain. So while the release of Super Duper Fly, Elliott became one of the most prominent female rappers. The album is created for redefining hip-hop and R&B. Steve Hughes of AllMusic felt that the album was arguably the most influential album ever released by a female hip-hop artist. Spin Magazine ranked the album at number 9 on its top 20 albums of the year in 1998. 4 out of 5 music critics from the New York Times ranked the album as one of their top 10 favorite albums in 1997. Hold up, sorry. This is what happens when you talk for a whole hour and you ain't got nobody else. You just got yourself and you got to stop and pause. And yes, would I take the pauses out of it? Would I go through all of that when I edit it? Maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Y'all just get the raw and real moments, because I wouldn't be me if that wasn't the case. So we saw about Spin Magazine. The album earned Elliott 2 Grammy Award nominations: Best Rap Album, the Best Rap Solo Performance for The Rain, Super Duper Fly. Upon its release, Super Duper Fly received acclaim among music critics, writers. What was I going to say about that? I'm sorry, I just had a thought. Writers, record producer Timbaland's production as a unique, revolutionary. AllMusic called the album a boundary-shattering phenomenon and phenomenal masterpiece you know what? That's what I was going to say. I'm sorry, 2 things just popped in my mind. Yo, this album, I'm sorry, I just had a thought in the midst of while I was reading it. But this album itself it was just so classic. Like, I will be honest with you, if you really listen to the first couple of Missy Elliott albums, I can listen to pretty much all of them ad nausea, like, all the way through. Can continue to listen to. But yo, this album had so many. I remember watching the videos. I'm gonna say something about the videos in a second, but yeah, this album was great. So critics also talked about it being futuristic, nearly experimental styles became the defacto sound of urban radio at the close of the millennium. Elliott's rapping, singing, and songwriting also received much acclaim. The 2004 edition of the Rolling Stone Album Guide rated the album 5 out of 5 stars, nothing that the avant-garde, yes, use that word, avant-garde sound of the album made Elliott and Timbaland the hottest writer/producer team around. Mulholland called the album a key prophecy of the dimension 21st century. Oh, sorry, the dominant. I don't know why I didn't know the word today. The dominant 21st century black pop, noting Elliott's ability to avoid the whole East versus West, players versus gangster mess. He described Elliott's style as everything the hip hop doc ordered. A woman who could flip between aggressive and romance, sex and no nonsense, materialism and imagination without batting one outrageously spidery eyelash. I love it. So before I go over the track listing, let's talk about the videos real quick. So, the videos. This, in the 90s, I would say, roughly when we got around, like, 97-ish, when she came out, we loved videos, and we had Michael Jackson at the time. You know what I'm saying? So you would always look forward to a Michael Jackson video. Super Duper Fly had that, But what I will say is, by the time I picked, like, on this board that I have in my room, I picked on the poster board that I have in my room, I picked 3 albums. I picked Super Duper Fly, The Real World of Missy Elliott, and Miss E So Addicted. By the time we got to the second album and she started working with the legendary Hype Williams, well, I think she was already working with Hype a little bit, but like really working with Hype and working with Dave Myers and so on and so forth, visually, we were like, what the fuck is this? Yo, like, to this day, I can listen to the regular mix of She's a Bitch, or even a European mix of She's a Bitch, and that shit goes off to this day. However, Super Duper Fly, I remember when she did the Hit him with the He, and the Brat and Missy and Kim were all in like Mega Man costumes, and like her world is, as they state, very avant-garde, very just out of the box. So love Missy for that. Video wise, one thing that I was going to say, and I have said it, and I said it again and again, and I'm so glad that she did receive that. But the Michael Jackson, because I'm going to say it correctly, because VH1 stopped playing, and I said this before, the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award deserved to go to Missy before it ever went to Jennifer Lopez. I remember that was like almost a year, 2 years ago. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why in the whole holy hell? Not Jennifer Lopez, my nigga. Like, who did Jennifer Lopez got this out? Because that's ridiculous. It don't make no sense. Like, for real, like, Jennifer Lopez, in just the grand scheme of things, is not a great artist. She might be y'all Latin pop artist, but she is not a great artist. I will be 100% completely honest. Missy deserved the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. And I will always continue to call it the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award, because that was what you named it originally before y'all tried to whitewash it. Like, yo, we can't have nothing before y'all try to do dumb shit. They literally tried to whitewash it, and I said that the last time, and I still feel very strongly about it now. They really tried to whitewash the shit out of it and just called it, the Video Vanguard Award. No. You will give props where props is due. You will give props to the legend, Michael Jackson, because without Michael Jackson, there would not have been a Video Vanguard Award. First of all, you fuckers, when MTV came out, y'all was barely putting on black music to begin with, and Michael Jackson was one of the first artists on MTV. So when you speak his name, when you speak that nigga motherfucking name, you say his name and stop playing. Moving on. That might be my new hashtag. Moving on. The track listing is as followed. Of course, you start off with Busta Rhymes on the intro. Then you get to Hit Him with the He. You get Sock It To Me. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Hit Him with the He was with Lil' Kim, but then you had Sock It To Me, which was with the Brat. And that was the one where they were the Mega Man. Then you have The Rain, Super Duper Fly. Then you have one of my favorite songs, Beat Me 911. Beat Me 911 had 702 in it. It had Magoo. One of the things that I liked about it, and I remember her talking about this on like VH1 or something like that. I think it was like, it was, what was it? They're like driven. I think there was like the driven episodes where it was like, you know, saying how driven artists are, whatever. And I remember them talking about Beat Me 911. And it's funny because if you look at the video, they all kind of look like Barbie dolls. And it was her homage to her being a kid kind of playing with Barbie dolls. And I really, honestly, you got to think about how many people really got introduced to a very abstract avant-garde world. And we didn't think that we would love it, but we do. Like, yo, I honestly to this day can tell you that Missy's music is timeless. I mean, there's no debate. There is really no debate. It just is what it is. Then you have They Don't Want to Fuck With, They Don't Want to Fuck With Me. Hell yeah. Then, Pass the Blunt, which both feature Timbaland, Bite Our Style Interlude, Friendly Skies featuring Genuine. I can hear all of these shits in my head. Best Friend featuring Aaliyah. Don't Be Coming in My Face. Izzy Izzy I. Why You Hurt Me. I'm Talking. Getaway. Ooh, that was good. And then Busta Rhymes Interlude, and then Missy Elliott's Final Thoughts. Again, I absolutely 100% love this album. Like, every time I tell y'all that I'm going to listen to an album, I literally shut down my computer and play the album first and then go ahead and start editing the show. But this is one of my favorites. I think one of the things that I love about doing the show is that I get a chance to take y'all back and just walk with it. I remember, I just remember this being in my Walkman on a regular day-to-day basis. Like, I remember ever since I was every bit of like 10, 11 years old, I stayed with a Walkman. I stayed with headphones. I always was listening to music and, you know, being the only child for my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me be clear. I have other brothers and sisters on my father's side. Speaking of which, shout out to my sis Janelle for her podcast. She is doing really well. She started up a new one. I absolutely love what she is doing. But yeah, no, so I love music. I love music in a different type of way that I think that people don't understand, that when the reason that I will debate somebody on something is because this is music that I have listened to, I have loved, it's captivated my life. One thing that I think I might actually do t-shirts for this. One major quote that I always refer back to: music is the soundtrack of my life. Like, I did not make that quote. It is not my thing, but it is. I think I forgot where I heard it from. I heard it on something one time, but music is the soundtrack of your life. It invokes a feeling, an emotion, a memory. It's never, do y'all know every day, like, I even took a nap before I did this show. Every day, I wake up with a song in my head. And when I mean songs in my head, I mean songs that I have not listened to. Haven't thought about, didn't think about today, didn't even listen to it the whole day. And then the next morning, I think about a song. Like, in my head right now, and every time I talk off the track listing, in my head right now, I have like a Missy Elliott song playing in my head, which is Crazy Feelings. And that was on like Missy So Addicted. That doesn't even have anything to do with the album that we're talking about now. And we'll get into some of those albums later. You know what I'm saying? I like to just kind of jump around. But one of the things that I love about Missy Elliott is that you gave us this visual, this world. Like, I know what it feels like to be an only child, to sit in your room and be like, I ain't got nobody to talk to, I ain't got nobody to play with, I ain't got nothing, so I'm gonna create it. But then to create it, and other creatives that were around her brought this vision to life. So I think that is so dope. I think that Missy is just phenomenally dope. I think that she proved that sex doesn't have to sell. I think that she proved that the dance community is vital to a great hip hop artist. I think that she just needs to be celebrated. You know what I'm saying to you? And I'm glad that we do it. We're doing it now. I do hope that we get more music from Missy. I really do. The Iconology situation is utterly my favorite. It is definitely one of my favorite, but of course it's not enough songs. I do hope that she, and not the hope, but Missy has worked with so many people. It is ridiculous. ridiculous. Like, I will be very honest. I can look on my wall and only be maybe a handful of people that are on this wall that Missy has not worked with. Like, I'm really, honestly, truthfully, it's probably a handful. I would say at best, like with all of the posters, all of the pictures that I have on the wall, I would say I've never seen her collaborate with Kendrick. I don't remember if there's a collaboration with Wayne. I know she's never collaborated with Nicki. I know she's never collaborated with Cardi. I don't think that there's a collaboration with Ross. I can't even say there's not a collaboration with Biggie, because there is. I think there was stuff written for for Ashanti. I know she probably didn't work with Pimp C. I believe she's worked with Nas because, and so it's just like, yo, it's just so many great people that she works with. That's the kind of, this is the last thing that I'm going to say, because I feel like I am rambling and I apologize. This is the last thing that I'm going to say about this. Missy is the kind of artist that a lot of people should want to strive to be. A lot of people in this game, female-wise, male-wise, whatever, you would want to strive to be like Missy. Not nary artist that has ever worked with the Queen has anything negative to say about her. Not one. You have over a 25-year career, and nobody has nothing to say negative. And it's not because she makes the beats, because if that was just the case, you know, there are other producers that people be like, oh, this motherfucker don't do this, and they do that, and producers have come and gone very quickly. What is it about Missy that creates to stand the test of time? She's timeless, iconic, priceless. Like, that is the artist that I would love to, if I was still being an artist like that, that is the artist that I would love to be. I don't want no drama, I don't want no controversy. I want to do the art and work super hard to be super duper fly. So, that is the show for the day. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening to some of the craziness, the bullshit that go on in my head, because you know there's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I be doing a whole lot. You know what I'm saying to you, and to the motherfuckers say I can't read. I be having thoughts while I'm reading. I'm sorry. So it's why my mouth be dry in the middle of these motherfucking conversations. Shit, I done talked for a whole hour, which actually was not expecting, didn't even think I was going to make it there, because some of the shit was short. So I'm there. Also, let's see, wrapping up a few things. Don't forget that you can find me on all of your social media platforms. In addition, you can find this show on SoundCloud, Google Music, which is now YouTube Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and don't forget about the YouTube show as well. Then, also, before I leave, don't forget about my interview, that I just did with the legendary Krav. He is part of the Gold Room 410. Make sure y'all check out Krav, Tony Bono Krav, on most of your social media platforms. Don't forget to shop his merch as well. He has some amazing hoodies. I'm about to order this new pillow to go in this room as well. So also y'all will be seeing more pieces of this room, because I'm going to put that on some of the social media platforms and then eventually do it on my YouTube page as well. Something else that I needed to say. Anything else? I have another interview coming up this Friday, so stay tuned. It should be on Instagram Live, and then it will transfer over to YouTube. In addition, we're going to end it like we always end it. Fear, false evidence appearing real. It's only real in your mind if you make it real in your mind. And Missy has shown you that you can do anything. You can, if you put your authentic self into it, you can do pretty much anything. I have a few sponsors that will eventually be coming up. I can't wait for those. You'll start hearing my sponsor commercials really soon, so cannot wait for that. Then, the more money that is placed into the podcast, the better, because then that way we can start giving you different content, start doing more. In addition, like I said, I am going to change the email address. I have not changed it yet. It still is at the kickstandpodcast@gmail.com. However, that will be changing very soon. So we'll have a new way of communicating. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, hit me up, DM me. Actually, fuck that. I don't give a fuck about your concerns. But if you have any thoughts or questions or opinions, now you can have an opinion, but be very clear. I got one too, and usually it's okay. It's okay. I usually just let people have their opinion. Y'all can have y'all little shit. It is what it is. So in addition to that, I think that's pretty much it. So once again, you have tuned into another episode of Kicking It with Young Smooth. Now, don't you feel better about it? I know you do. All right, y'all. So I will see y'all next week, and I look forward to doing another review. Hey.
Zodiac. Zodiac.